It's not about the honey. So today marks the second anniversary of me getting bees. 2 years ago this day, I dumped a package of bees into my flow hive, right here, right there. Well, the bees are in, and I feel like a new dad. That was one of the coolest things I've ever done. And I did not know what to expect. I didn't know that I would still be keeping bees. I didn't know if this was going to be a lifelong thing. I didn't know if it was going to be a summer experiment that I would never return to. I didn't know if it would be a complete failure. I just knew I wanted to do it. I knew I wanted to try. So 2 full years of beekeeping. I'm going into my 3rd season right now. And I have learned over that time that this is not about the honey. It was never about the honey. I didn't get into beekeeping for the honey. I got into beekeeping because I wanted to learn how to keep bees. I like bees. I like what they do. I like that they pollinate all of my plants, and I like that they're good for the environment. I don't like that bees are having a really hard time in the world right now, and you know, around in our climate, there aren't a lot of natural bees flying around. There aren't natural honeybees living out in our woods. As far as I know, I mean, there might be a rare instance of that, but most of the bees around here are kept bees. And without these bees, there'd be a lot less pollination going on in places like this. So I got into beekeeping for the challenge and for the pollination. And because I like the idea of taking care of an important creature in the environment. And I like the idea of providing them with a farm, a beautiful piece of land here with no pesticides, no herbicides, that they can just live and do their thing. And they can go beyond and do their thing. That's why I'm doing this. The honey is a byproduct. It's an afterthought. I like the taste of honey. My wife likes honey, my son likes honey, but I don't intend to ever be a major honey producer. I'm a backyard beekeeper. I do want to expand, I want to grow, but it's more for the bees than for the honey. So why did I buy a flow hive if I'm not in it for the honey? Well, I do have a video about the flow hive. It's a long video, but it goes into great detail on the struggles I've had with the flow hive. Not with the flow hive, but with my current situation and my climate, and not being able to use the flow hive because of timing and because of weather and that kind of thing. I've seen it working for other people, and it seems like a really cool product. I hope to try it someday. I got the flow hive because it was marketed very cleverly. It was something that I saw as I could buy and get into beekeeping. Just buy the whole package and get into beekeeping. And it came at a time when we had money to do it, the desire was there, and I was ready to just jump on it. And we did. And we got into beekeeping. Now that first year, I expected it to work. I expected to get honey. The reality was we didn't get any honey. Our bees didn't build up enough to the point where we could put the flow frames on before winter. And it became just a timing thing that year, so we just didn't use the flow frames. The second year started, and we thought, okay, flow hive this year, and then the same thing happened. Our bees didn't build up fast enough, and when it got to the point where we could have put the flow frames on, I wanted the bees to be gathering their own honey to get through the winter. So I didn't use the flow frames last year. So now we're in season 3 here, and we're coming out of the winter with 3 strong hives. Perfect timing, right? Time to put the flow frames on. Thing is, I'm in another weird decision time right now. Do I want honey, or do I want to expand my bee yard? These hives are all strong enough right now that I could throw supers on these hives, and I could probably get a nice little spring harvest, and then let them go for the summer, and then they're going to build up, and I can get a fall harvest, and I would have 3 production hives right here that would be probably get me a lot of honey this year. On the other hand, the hives that would be very good for honey production would also be great for splitting. I mean, we have 3 strong hives here with proven queens, the Balboa hive has made it through 2 winters now. The Russians made it through 1 winter. And this new package hive is an insane productive queen who I would love to propagate and keep going. So yes, they'd be great for honey production, but they'd also, I think, be great for splitting. So here's where we are. What if we take all 3 of these hives and split the hives? We could potentially split each of these hives into 2 nukes, right? So these 3 hives could become 6 nukes, which could possibly be 6 hives, which would mean we'd have 9 hives here this winter. At the very least, 6 hives if we split them all in half. So think about next spring. We come out of next spring with possibly 6 more, or maybe even 4 or 5 hives next spring. I could definitely take one of those hives, dedicate it as a production hive, throw the flow frames on there, and just see what we can get for 1 season. And then just keep splitting the other hives until we kind of fill up the bee yard here. We have enough room here for 18 or 20 hives. And in my mind, that's kind of my upper limit of where I want to be. And we could be there in a couple of years with splitting and propagating what we have. And that's where I want to go. That's what I want to do. It's not about the honey. I'm not trying to drag you guys along and lead you on into thinking I'm going to put the flow frames on and we're going to get honey, because that's not what this is about. That's not what I'm about here. I'm trying to keep bees. I'm trying to learn how to be a beekeeper, and I'm trying to get healthy bees to get through the winter. The honey is a byproduct. It's an afterthought. The flow hive is even one step beyond that as far as goals go. So that's what we're doing right now. It's just far more appealing to me and more challenging to me to go for the splits and expand the bee yard, build up the resources, build up potentially more queens that, you know, we could replace queens if we need to, dry out a lot more comb, and just get this bee yard hopping. I'm pretty proud of how I've come out of this spring, you know, with 3 very strong hives. In mid-May, before I even had put my first bees in 2 years ago, we have 3 strong hives now. Imagine 20 hives in this yard. Imagine 10 hives in this yard. How that would feel. That's the goal. That's the plan, and I hope you come along and watch. So once again, thank you very much for all of your comments, all of your support, all of the links that you share, the places you point me, the books you recommend. It has all helped. It's all helped me get to where I am right now. And again, I say this a lot, but it's not just me learning here. Thousands of people watch these videos, and thousands of people read your comments. So if you have something to say and you want to comment and help out, you'll be helping out lots of people. So thanks again, and let's do some splits.